Okay, guys, this is actually probably going to be our last topic for the school year. So next week we will do some review of topics that are going to be really important going into geometry next year, and then into Algebra 2 Trig after that. But this is our last topic, and I think it's kind of a fun one. It's box plots. Okay, so we are on page 55. We're still in the same packet, Unit 11, okay? Box plots are also known as box and whisker plots. Now, I don't know if you ever got to this with Mr. Robert last year, so some of this could be a review. Let's see, box plot is a good visual way to organize data. We're going to say into 4 groups. Okay, so a good visual way to organize data into 4 groups. Here's an example of what a box and whisker plot looks like. Okay, you can see the 4 different sections. Okay, we're going to call this right here quartile 1. Okay, this right here would be your minimum. Here's your median. Here's your quartile 3, and this is going to be your max. Okay, super important that you write all this down. Let's see what else. I'm just going to warn you, I have a dog in the background that may start barking. This first, from minimum to quarter 1, is 25% of your data. There he goes. From quartile 1 to the median. Can somebody please get the dog? That is going to be, or you can call it your quartile 2. That's going to be 25% of the data. From quartile 2, or your median, to quartile 3, that's 25% of your data. And then here, from quartile 3 to the max, is 25% of your data. Okay? So that's kind of how we break it down. We break it down into quartiles. Okay? And if you look down here, these numbers, that's just your scale. Okay? So that's kind of what you need to know and what the box and whisker plot looks like. Let's see. The median, which I marked right here, divides the data set. Oops, I don't know what I did there. The median divides the data set into 2 halves. Okay? The lower and upper halves. Okay? The lower, let's draw a line so you can actually see how that red kind of tends to run together. The lower half represents 50% of the data. Okay? And the upper half, let's see, let's just do half, represents the other 50%. Let's say of the data. Okay? We've got your first quartile or your lower quartile. Now this is really important. It's the median of the lower half of the data. Okay, that's the first quartile. The second quartile, or the median, or you can call it the midpoint. Okay, you've got it'd be helpful if you could actually see it, right? The third quartile, or the upper quartile, and this is important again, is the median of the upper half of the data. It's supposed to be no. Okay? So basically there's 5 numbers that are important on the box and whisker. There's going to be your minimum. There's going to be your quartile 1. There's going to be your median, which we also call quartile 2, but typically I refer to it as median. You're going to have quartile 3, and then you're going to have your max value. Okay? So look, minimum, quartile 1, median, quartile 3, and your maximum. Okay? And each of these 4 sections of the box plot represent 25% of the data. Okay? Let's go ahead and go on to page 50. Actually, let's go ahead and skip to page 57. Okay, that's what we just talked about on 56. So we're on 57. Okay, this will be a good one. Page 57. Okay? The length of songs in seconds on a CD are listed below. Make a box plot of the song lengths. Okay. This page is going to come in really handy when you're doing homework tonight too. Step 1, you always order the data. Okay. It's always important to order the data in ascending order from least to greatest. Okay. This is always the first step in creating a box and whisker. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to get another color pen here, and let's go ahead and order these. We've got 173. We've got 179. We've got 181. Just saw that. We've got 198. We've got 206, 239, 246, 251. Oh, wait, is that 250? Yep, 251, 257, 261, and 295. I should have put commas so you can actually see the difference there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so I listed them in order, ascending order from least to greatest. Okay, now you're going to create your 5-number summary, your minimum. Well, we know our minimum is 173. I'm going to go up to the maximum. We know it's 295. Okay, now we need to find our, I always kind of do it in that order. Here is our median. Okay, so I'm going to go through, remember, median is your middle value. So how I do it is I literally just go and look for the middle value, which is 239. Okay, so that's my median, 239. Okay, now I'm going to look for the first quartile. And if you remember, if I can get my page here, the first quartile is the median of the lower half of the data. Okay, so now we're looking at this lower half of the data, and we're going to find the median of those 5 numbers. Okay, so we've got 181. That's the middle value of these 5, of the lower half of the data. Okay, so 181 goes down here. Then we go to the third quartile. And if you think about the third quartile is the median of the upper half of the data. So now we cover everything else up and we look at our upper half. Our middle value looks like 257. Okay, so there we have our 5-number summary. Those are the most important numbers. Okay. Okay. A couple other things that are going to come in super handy. Okay. And again, you may have learned these last year with Mr. Robert. Interquartile range is your Q3 minus your Q1. So quartile 3 minus quartile 1. Quartile 3 is 257. Quartile 1 is 181. 76 is your IQR. Okay, we're going to abbreviate it IQR. Now, another item that you may be occasionally asked to find, especially on standardized tests, is they're going to ask you to find an outlier. Okay, and so here's the outlier calc. So this is the interquartile range. Here's your, and if I can spell outlier calc. Okay, you take your IQR, which is 76, and you take it times 1.5. Okay, that's going to give me what, 114, I believe. Let's just make sure. 76 times 1.5 today. Yep, I did that in my head right. Okay, that's 114. Okay, then I know this is going to be crazy to you. I shouldn't have drawn that. That's okay. You're going to take that 114, quartile 1, quartile 3, or quartile 1 was 181. You're going to subtract 114, you get 67. You're going to take your third quartile, which was 257, and you're going to add 114. Okay, and that's 371. Therefore, any number less than or equal to 67 or greater than or equal to 371 is an outlier. Okay, so just study this and look over it. We'll do it again in a little bit, but that is how you find your interquartile range, and that's how you do your outlier calculation. Okay, again, IQR is just quartile 3 minus quartile 1, and there's your IQR. Okay, to find the outlier calculation, you're always going to do your IQR times 1.5, and you get a number. You subtract it from quartile 1, you add it to quartile 2, and that's going to give you any number below this or above this is going to be considered an outlier. Okay? Now, how to make a box and whisker plot of the data. The data in the plot must be proportional. Okay? So if we do this, I'm going to actually come down here so I have a straight line. I'm going to draw, if I can find my ruler here, a nice straight line. Okay, I'll just do it like this. And let's see, 173, 295. Let's go up by tens. Let's go 170, 180, 190, 200. We've got 210, 220, 230, 240, 250, 260, 270, 280, 290. Let's just do 1, 2, 3. Okay, those are about even. Okay, now my box and whisker is going to go above it. So remember, you plot all three. We've got our minimum, which is 173. So that looks like it's about, let's just start up here. Okay, we have our quartile 1, which is 181. It's going to be about here. I'm just going to make a dot for now. Okay, we've got median, which is 239. That's going to be about here. Okay, put that up here. And of course, I ran into things. And then I'm going to put my quartile, 3 is 257. That's going to be 30, 240, 250, 257 is going to be here. Okay, let's put these in a different color so we can actually see them there, 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 there. This is going to make sense in a minute. And then we've got our max, which is 295, which is right here. I'm just going to put my dot here. Okay, you're going to take your, so let's just write that. There's min, there's quartile 1, there's median, there's quartile 3, okay, and there's your max right there. Watch what happens. You take, this is always the case, you're going to take your quartile 1, you're going to draw a box, you're going to go all the way down to quartile 3, okay, draw that box. You guys should be using a ruler. Here's your median, and there is your whisker, okay? So basically your box goes from quartile 1 to quartile 3 with your median, okay? And then your whiskers go from minimum to quartile 1 and max to quartile 3. And that's how you do your box and whiskers, okay? And then your outlier is going to be over on either end, but we don't have to mark those, okay? Whew, okay, let's see. Let's go on to page 58. I don't think it would hurt us to do one more practice because if you haven't seen that, I don't know if you did that with Mr. Robert. I haven't been able to check with him. This can be tricky, okay? So let's go ahead and do this. The following are the ages. Oh, this is on the calculator. You know what? We're not doing this on our calculator, okay, this year. That's what I'm cutting out because it's just not important right now. I want to make sure that you guys understand it. So we're going to do, we're going to list them. We're going to have 15, 20, 25, 30. We've got 40, we've got 55, 60, and 70. Let's make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Minimum is 15. Maximum, 70. Median, we're going to look for the middle value. Okay. We have two middle values, 30 and 40. So you find the average. 30 plus 40 is 70. Divided by 2 is 35, right? So we're going to put 35 as our median. Okay. Our first quartile is going to be, that was that. So we're going to look for the median of these three numbers. And that is going to be, well, it's going to be about 20. Okay. Let me just look for a second. If we're looking at our first quartile data, hold on, we're going to go from here to here. We're going to have 20 plus 25 divided by 2, right? So that's going to be 20 plus 25 divided by 2 is going to give me actually 22.5, right? Then if we look at our upper half of our data, it's 55 and 60. Remember, we're finding the median of the upper half. That's going to give me 57.5. So there are my 5 values, okay? If you want to find your IQR, that's going to be quartile 3 minus quartile 1, which is going to be 57.5 minus 22.5, which is going to give us 35. Okay, then if we want to find our outliers, we're going to take 35 times 1.5, which is going to give me 52.5. Okay, and so for my outliers, you're going to take your quartile 1, which was quartile 1 was 22.5 minus 52.5. Well, you're going to get a negative, so we're not even going to have an outlier to the left because you're obviously not going to have an age that's negative. We'll do our quartile 3, which was 57.5, and we're going to add 52.5 to it, and you get 100. Okay, so there's my outlier. Okay, now make a box and whisker plot of the data. I'm going to go by tens. Start over here. Let's see if I can get it this way. Okay, we're going to have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Okay, I tried to squeeze it onto this side so I didn't run into any data. Okay, so we're going to start. I always just, not every teacher does it this way. I plot my 5 points. My minimum is 15. It's going to be here. My first quartile is 22.5. So we're going to say about here. Okay, median is 35 here. Third quartile is 57. Let's see, about here, 0.5. We'll say up here. And my max is 70, which is here. Okay, remember, you draw a box around your quartile 1 to quartile 3. Okay, so let's just do that. Again, I'm not doing this. You will use a ruler. Make sure I did this right. Okay, there's your whisker. There's your whisker. And there's your median. Okay, not the prettiest picture, but you guys get the idea. Okay, shape. Explain the shape, center, spread of the ages. Okay, so the shape. The shape is going to be, it's skewed slightly to there's the tail, so skewed slightly right, because, let's see, the mean is greater than the median. Okay, we're going to say that there's a wide, you can see that up here, there's a wide variation in the ages of the Smith family, because there's a range of 55 years, right? The range is 70 minus 15, which is 55 years, with a min age of 15 and max of 70. And then remember, 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%. And we're going to say 50% of the data lies between, between the first and the third. So that's between 22.5 and 57.5. Okay. The range of the set, like we said, is 70 minus 15, which is 55. The max minus the min. And our IQR is 35. Okay, remember each of the 4 sections of the box plot represents 25%. 25% of the data, 25% of the data, 25% of the data, 25% of the data. Okay, and there you have it. Let's see if there's anything else that I wanted to do. And I think we are good.